Yeah, definitely like that. I think it's a good safe choice here as well. If you're behind, if you really need that 1 point, it's oftentimes a little bit of a risk to go for a wonky map like Warhead's Junction, unless you're Roll20 Esports and you're setting up a casual new record in HGC after 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
It feels weird to think that our fastest game had a Lily in it on the winning team. It's a weird thought. Either way, as you can see here, currently a significant win rate advantage going over to RPG. They are very solid on this map.
True.
Whereas HotsLady, a potential risk taking RPG here, but the whole point is it's a standard map. They don't want to deal with any cheeky global stuff, which could still happen here, but it's a little bit less likely. They just want to play as standard can be, because this is where they believe they can take a map back.
I think that's actually a very good point you just mentioned there, Tetra. Go for a map where those global shenanigans from RPG cannot cause that much harm. If they had gone for the likes of Warhead Junction, for example, or if they had gone for the likes of, let's say, Infernal Shrines, they would have been a lot more susceptible, I think, to those global plays. On Cursed Hollow, you know, you can normally ignore the map objective for the most part, even if you miss out on a tribute or two. As long as you're defending against the global split pressure, I think you're still doing fine, so I like it. Once again, Tassadar, Ariel, those seem to be the go-to bans here between those two teams. Can't really blame them. Tassadar, I think, more so than in any other region right now, is still a very, very high contested pick in China.
Yeah, but once again, it's the... this is the whole point. We saw these hit picks that just empower Valor so much banned in the first game as well, and Valor was in fact not picked. And we're seeing a very similar move to last time with RPG starting off with Wang's ETC.
Yeah, now if you're HotsLady, you need to consider maybe picking up a Genji or an Illidan yourselves. Basically, something that can bring the aggression towards the enemy team. I don't think HotsLady should go for a very, you know, reactive, passive style again like they did last time. But they go for the Bright Wing first pick. Oh, China. Okay.
This is better. They still have Greymane, which works very effectively, but now they have a little bit of counter to the potential Illidan or the Genji. This, however, seems to amuse Loktar, who is giggling away in the corner, or at least was. And they do still at least have the CC from ETC already, because the Wang plays every show. It's a question of who will be his sporting band today.
Yeah, I would love to hear from Wang himself, by the way, what his favorite kind of music is.
Oh, can you imagine if that was his voice?
Yeah.
Even though he was Chinese, he has like a Cockney British voice. Just catches everyone off guard.
Born in Britain, only moved back to China when he was 18.
Only after he picked up the accent.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's see who it's going to be run with. Once again, last time we saw a... Which order did we see it in? We saw Uther. There was second pick, yeah, so it was Uther and something else.
Yeah.
No Uther this time, though. We're bringing out Arthas and the Rhaegar here, getting in some AoE healing.
But they're forcing out an Illidan ban right here. I mean, if HotsLady doesn't ban Illidan right now, they're running a grave risk of actually getting outdanced by the Betrayer again. Unless they pick it themselves, because they are first pick, of course, after the second ban run. But look at that. RPG just basically picked the greatest counter away, which is the Arthas. They also picked the Rhaegar, and we all know from history, right, that those two heroes are best buddies. Illidan and Rhaegar, those two just work so well together. Yeah. But they go for a faucet ban. What?
Well, here's the point. With RPG going for this style, they're not threatening an Illidan, because who's going to play it? They have Chicken is now on the Arthas.
Oh, Loktar and Infinity, I think, are good enough of a player that they could... Okay,
I'm sure
okay,
they
never
could,
mind.
But that would make Chicken sulk. Either way, we do have Illidan being hovered as a ban here by RPG, and they do in fact remove it.
So I think they realized that HotsLady were probably going to pick the Illidan away because, as I said earlier, they had so many counters already taken away. So yeah, interesting. Which other melee assassin or maybe ranged assassin hypercarry would fit into the roster of RPG now? It's kind of,
That's kind of spectacular of a choice. The Malthael coming in. Here comes currently Loktar's highest win rate hero, I believe, for this season, the Lunara.
True.
There is some AoE healing to assist with this in the form of that Brightwing. And it is also a very reasonable hero for attempting to out-micro and kite the Malthael into the backlines. Right now, Malthael gets double tanks. It's going to do spectacularly well. And here comes Li Ming. A little bit of burst damage because they've got some heavy lockdown. much damage as Malthael could do. If he gets locked down and Divine Shield does not land, then he's going to die. However, to help fix that, here is the Tyrael. Divine Shield, Sanctification. Malthael's going to have a lovely time.
Oh, he's going to have a good time for sure, as long as he stays close to his two buddies and doesn't dive in too much with the tunnel vision. However, that last peak Li Ming, I was actually expecting a secondary support like Lucio, to be honest, but RPG, they ain't got no time for double support. I think they're one of the few teams in the HGC global, basically, that has never played. I'm not sure if they have never played double support, but they played very rarely.
They have played double support. They just got wrecked. It was the Stukov game.
Yeah. So maybe they just don't like it. Maybe they just can't play it because the players don't feel comfortable on supports, except for Sa, of course.
That's the point. The flex player is Chicken mostly. Like, you consider it's Chicken or Infinity. So therefore, what's the support? Like, on the very odd occasion I believe they have done it, Infinity mostly played it, and we've seen Chicken do it once.
And that was atrocious.
Yes. So I would like to see more. I do like the idea of them just picking, like, Sa going for Stim Drone Morales or something like that, just Stim Droning Stukov. I will show you a monster! Just Chicken going crazy on everyone.
So Tetcher, if you take a look at the drafts here, we have a double support Malthael in the set of HotsLady and a standard one support. Hold that thought, we're going to talk about it in the game here as we dive into game number 2 here between RPG and HotsLady. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it here. It's currently 1-0 in favor of RPG, who are once again rocking the blue trunks. We have Chicken on that ETC again. Oh no, he's the ETC. Holy cow. And Wang is on Arthas. Then we have Sa on Rhaegar, Infinity on Li Ming, and Loktar on the Lunara.
Whereas on the right, it is HotsLady with 365 on the Brightwing, again on the Uther, Feed B on the Greymane, Kid on Malthael, and Carlo is on that Tyrael.
So we see Chicken on that main tank role this time around. Very interesting to see.
I would argue both of those are main tanks. It's just, I would love to see if he goes for Hammer On and just sticks with the whole melee assassin mindset. Either way, I'm kind of down for it. We saw these exact two tanks coming out of these two players the other way around in the past.
Yep.
Beautiful route by Wang to start off. What a nice guy. Saving
what a nice guy, right?
Yeah, one nice guy, saving his teammate. But now Chicken playing hyper-aggressive, just harassing Carlo a little bit, comes out on top.
In the meantime, we have a duel here between Malthael and Li Ming in that top lane. Infinity, a very scary opponent to face, though. However, I don't think Li Ming is one of those ranged assassins that can actually out-bully or out-lane. Well, hold that thought. That was a beautiful CC chain. Chicken taking a lot of damage, over 50% in just one combo. That was beautifully done. But yeah, I was going to say, like, the best way to deal with Malthael in lane is normally sending a ranged assassin like Lunara, Vala, Falstad, one of those guys into the lane, because he has a hard time catching up to those guys if they kite him all the time, if they poke him from afar. However, Li Ming, I don't think really does so well in that role because her abilities are all skill shot dependent, and if Malthael hides behind minions, I think he can avoid a lot of the damage for the most part.
Yeah, you can actually see here, Feed B gets out fine. Sa was actually taking a lot of damage and even dropped some in response there. RPG, even though Loktar got dropped a little, mostly a fine. You can see Chicken doing a spectacular job in the solo lane. The difference is he can heal, whereas Carlo can only shield in a much lower amount, with Carlo going for a damage build instead of a regen build. And you can see, though, by the XP bars at the top of your screen, Malthael's having a pretty easy time up there. He's taking minor amounts of damage every now and again, whereas Li Ming is just surviving, just grabbing globes, keeping her mana up.
Yeah, now, speaking of keeping your mana up here, we see the reason why Carlo is currently losing this lane against Chicken. Tyrael has one of the highest mana consumption costs in the game. His abilities cost an absurd amount of mana compared to other warriors, so he needs to be very careful on how often he casts them and how he spends them, right? Because ETC is naturally going to outtrade him just by out-sustaining them. Now, Rhaegar, a little bit too late when it comes to dealing with those mercenaries. Normally you want to do them at the 2-minute mark, and as such, Rhaegar has no time to finish them off. He needs to be with the rest of his team.
Yeah, he needs to come down and rotate here. Li Ming's on the way. ETC buying as much time as he can. Malthael yet to rotate at all, so this should go over to RPG once Li Ming arrives down there due to Brightwing. Bribing the camp. Cheeky returns to the fight, so it's a 4v4. ETC can might have to rotate down for them to actually claim this now.
A little bit of Hanamura here on Curse Hollow. Brightwing going for those cheeky bribes, only to arrive in the nick of time. Now they need to interrupt this though with an Uther W. The Holy Radiant connects, but there were two people going for the channel. Beautifully done. Carlo just a millisecond too late here with that Eldrin's Might. And unfortunately, as such, the mercenaries here, the two Siege Giants, are gone to waste because now RPG has enough time to take care of those suckers. So the idea behind the play by HotsLady was nice. The execution, not so much.
Yeah, they weren't able to get the tribute here, but they were still able to continue dominating this bot lane with Li Ming now staying down here. ETC having to be the one to rotate to the top lane to deal with Malthael. Now Malthael percentage damage, it does not matter how high a health pool he is laning against. Wang forced a long way back, running out of health. And the Fountain on cooldown. It's kind of right now up to Li Ming to defend. She has to now take a long way round even to get to a defensible position.
Wait, is Li Ming starting the boss? No, she was teleporting back.
No,
I was gonna say. Once again, a little bit of a missed opportunity here for RPG. They could have gone for the Siege Giant camp right after that last tribute had been taken, because Rega was already in the middle, but he kept clearing the lane. I think if he had gone for that Siege Giant camp, which was actually in the bottom half of the map, they could maybe stall it out, and then top lane would have been pressured. So as such, you know, a little bit of a wasted opportunity here, I feel, in terms of global play. At least they took the Bruiser camp right now. Once again, we have to highlight the double cleanse coming out from HotsLady. We see the normal one by Brightwing and the Blessing of Justice, or Hand of Protection. Whatever. I keep calling it Hand of Freedom. I thought it was Justice this time. No, but
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Like Hand of Freedom. I can definitely see Hand of Freedom.
It was a World of Warcraft. You got the Blessing of Freedom. Removed all the movement impairing effects on you.
Exactly. Makes sense. Makes sense either way. Both are cool. I will accept it.
Just need to be careful that you don't overlap them, right? So if you use them all at the same time on the same target, you need to make sure that you only use one. You need to be very efficient.
Blessing of the Hand of Freedom protection.
Yeah. Right. Now, once again, we see the increased attack movement speed, after casting Eldruin's Might here at level 7 for Turiel, which is kind of a China-only thing here on Turiels. Yeah.
It's very solid for escape potential for starters. You can see him racing into the backline. Finds an Arthas, though, who roots him down. Chicken now continuing to deal that harassment that we saw in lane in the early game. Turiel thinking about it. Does, in fact, go back in. Denies the tribute again, but Sar just heals everyone back up. And you can see the health bar starting to drop. Infinity very nearly losing the fight for his team there after dropping solo in health, but was able to micro out of danger. And second tribute goes over to RPG. 2-1 in their favor.
Yeah, nicely done by RPG, but also good effort by HotsLady. I think they actually played it very well in terms of, not giving in too soon, but also pulling back when it was needed to, because they realized, hey, it's not worth dying over this tribute because it's only the second one for our opponents. And look at our XP. We're actually doing really well in the overall global XP count because we have those global heroes and we have those faster rotations. Uther actually getting tons of value here in the bottom lane, while Greymane is taking care of the Siege Giants. I think they're very well equipped for that next tribute round, HotsLady that is, because both teams are probably going to hit level 10 at the same time.
Indeed, they are looking really solid right now as Chicken comes down with that Echo Pedal to clear the lane. And the fact that he's down here on his own almost entirely gives away that he is going for stage dive. It's very unlikely he would move down there if that was not the case. There it is, stage dive coming in for the ETC. Ancestral Arm with the Dead, Leaping Strike, question mark, turns into Disintegrate.
Yeah, Disintegrate, very interesting. I think it gives you a little bit more single target damage over time if you want to position yourself in a safe way. Oftentimes when you go Wave of Force, you need to get close to your enemies in order to get it off. And as such, you might expose yourself to the likes of Greymane and Brightwing. Now we see Brightwing teleporting in, and a lot of damage on Infinity already!
Ancestral lands, though, but the Divine Shield of Malthael is just crushing through. Stage dive on top of the backline, though. Sanctification to allow them to keep pushing through, but they push out of the Sanctification. Emerald Wind as a more of a disengage tool than anything else. Either way, HotsLady come out immensely more healthy, and so many tools from RPG were used just to survive. They're now trying to turn it around, but they're going very slowly. They've already lost the tribute.
Malthael.
Now it's just to try and get a kill. Cleanse is used, getting Malthael out of danger. and it's not enough to finish anyone off. Tribute goes over to HotsLady.
That was beautiful, yeah, and consider the fact that Malthael didn't even go for a Touch of Death here at level 7. So normally we've seen a lot of Malthael players go for that talent so they can actively decrease the value of Ancestral Healings if they use it in time. Just, you know, Ancestral Healing has a pretty long wind-up animation, so if you use it when you see that green glimmer go off first, then you can really, really cripple the overall healing value. So regardless, still a very good fight by HotsLady. Both teams are now trying to go for their respective bosses. Both forwards on the respective lanes are still standing, so I think it should be an even trade.
It should be indeed. We do see we didn't actually say what the time was. The Cold Hand coming in for Malthael as his level 7, so a little bit of slows for that Grey main to set up, and trying to keep people in that sanctification for longer. Now, both teams actually pushing with their bosses, and this will result in a minimum of 4 for both teams.
Yeah, definitely true. I think RPG is going to be a little bit faster because they destroyed the defense line a little bit quicker. Also, they have Lunara, fantastic siege damage if you spread the poison damage on multiple structures at the same time. However, they need to get going right now. RPG cannot afford to arrive too late on that tribute. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more favorable, the position that is for HotsLady, because they were pushing top anyway. Can they actually make it in time? Tyrael is going to delay it a lot, so is Malthael.
Hurry up, chicken! Disintegrate from over the wall will delay. Brightwing teleports up, but again is living up to his name. Channeling again, denied by the missile. Stage dive, Sang is used, and that does prevent the power slide, not the stage dive. ETC getting healed. Nice face melt, keeping himself alive as Arthas is trying to hold the line, trying to resist all of this damage with his undead minions. They're taking so much damage here. The poke is good. 365. Gets the tribute. It is the curse going over to HotsLady. They just need for RPG now just need to try and win the fight to do some damage control. Kid is
one reset,
low.
baby.
Feed B is out of position. Feed B will die to the poison, and Tsar biting him. We're seeing 3 heroes down in favor of RPG. They need to deal with that boss. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? That was actually cool. That was tactical feeding by HotsLady. Sure, it was not the ideal outcome because they still gave a lot of XP to RPG. However, look at the value. Every lane is getting pushed. Bottom lane, the fort is falling. Middle lane, the fort is almost falling. Top lane, they got the keep. That is their boss lane too. Further bosses later on during the game are going to threaten the core directly, which is oftentimes a winning condition. So, despite losing 3-4 members here, HotsLady are still in a major advantage. So that was so well played. Also, the body blocking, the Tyrael, the Malthael, they made sure that Brightwing was not touched while she was channeling the tribute. That was all just well executed by HotsLady. I think they're in the driver's seat. They're carrying full momentum.
They are looking good, but those kills did give RPG a big boost in XP, so they are able to do at least a little bit of damage control here. This fort will unfortunately go down as well, and HotsLady will continue to extend their current... I say lead, they're currently even. This will give them a lead, but we're seeing a stage dive coming in. This could go downhill very quickly. Power slide's good. It does interrupt any safety abilities this time. Carlo having to drop sack to try and keep everyone alive. They're going to try and turn it around and keep the fight going in HotsLady's favor as ETC is dropped. But Lunara, huge damage onto Feed B, who gets deleted. Ansar takes down Tyrael. He's going to die to the explosion, and down he goes. Wang is still tanking through. Divine Shield only is just Arthur's Kid. Taking it down again, kills off Infinity's getting all the resets. Oh no, but he's running out of health. Uther is keeping Kid sustained. Loktar, the only surviving member, no strike, gets polymorph for good measure. And HotsLady grab the fort and take the fight.
If only Uther's Holy Ghost wasn't there, I think they could have wiped the entire team of HotsLady. But once again, it shows why Uther is sometimes the wrong target to kill. But at some point, you just have to focus him down because they wanted to get even more resets for Li Ming. It looked so good for Infinity as well, but in the end, there was too much protection going on the side of HotsLady. What a spectacular team fight, Tetcher.
That was 100% down to Uther. That is the only reason that fight did not just turn into an absolute disaster for HotsLady. He was able to drop a really solid Divine Shield earlier on in the fight to just keep some good, healthy people up. Drop huge heals in the fight. A lovely cleanse as well to remove the slow and remove the bonus damage from Unfair Advantage onto Greymane. And was also able to keep Malthael alive after his own death with his trait. Just superb play.
Absolutely true. Couldn't agree more. And it once again goes to show that, you know, unlike other regions, China likes to handle things a little bit differently. Even on maps like Cursed Hollow, they just go for team fight after team fight. I think Other teams would have probably tried to stall it out a little bit more, come back in XP, and take an objective every now and then. But, you know, those teams, they don't mess around. They see an opponent, and they go for it. They go for those all-out, flat-out, all-in team fights. Super cool to see. Now, we see the Greater Polymorph here, by the way, for Brightwing, which is super cool against supports, actually. So if she gets a Polymorph onto the Rhaegar, who could actually be in her vicinity, she's actually going to cripple the healing output quite tremendously. By the way, Rising Storm for Rhaegar, speaking of which.
Ooh,
interesting talent here at 16.
No problems.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's see if it works out for him as Wang moves in. Holy Ground immediately separates Wang. Surprise chicken coming in from behind.
Loktar going in.
He's looking for his opportunity again. Holy Ground, creating space. It's really up to Wang. Stage dive onto the backline, though. Get some decent damage. Sanctification in and Emerald Wind are dropped, but they actually counteract each other a bit, forcing everyone away from the Sanctification, so that it gets no value here. Good stun by Chicken. Gets percentage damage, though, and the team is so split. Wang is dropped. Infinity's trying to do something. Sar goes down. Wang tries to... Sorry, Chicken tries to get in to save it. We're seeing Loktar in full retreat. Chicken in full retreat. Infinity's already gone at this point, but that did not go well. Beautiful splitting by Carlo on that Tyrael, easily winning his team the fight with that Holy Ground.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was beautifully done by HotsLady. I was starting to get a little bit worried because I think some of the heroic abilities, especially the Sanctification, were used a little bit too early in that team fight. But we also have to give credit to Brightwing. Brightwing fully shuts down the ETC every single time he drops in with that stage dive, isolating him, pushing him back, so the power slides and the knockbacks, they're coming in too late. Now, Infinity, you need to be careful, my friend.
You're being very ambitious, but
are they trying to go for
it? As the team arrives, Chicken moves on to the point.
Raymond is low.
Holy Ground. He can't get on. The Holy Ground saves it. Boss goes over to HotsLady. RPG are in retreat again. Stage dive uses an escape, and he does get out. Infinity's still getting chased though. Carlo's relentless chasing him down. Nearly dies for his ambition there. But either way, Boss goes over.
Wow.
The RPG very low on health and have to back up.
Maximum bravery here, some might call it folly, coming in from RPG against a Tyrael Holy Ground 5 versus 3. They did not care about it. They were still brave enough to give it at least a shot. It did not work out, unfortunately, but I'm not sure if HotsLady went for the right call. I think they should have gone for the other boss immediately. Go for the double boss play, because they should have realized that 15 minutes into the game with everyone alive on the side of RPG, they could have not forced the keep. The core even, excuse me. So... now they missed the opportunity to basically go for the second boss right away. So they should have committed to this push, I feel, and maybe get the core, or at least damage it. That would have been risky, of course, because they could have died. Or go for the second boss play immediately and force the attention this way. Because, as you said, there are no globals except for ETC, and they should have realized, you know what, stage dive was just being used, so I don't think they can really do much if we go right away. But as such, a little bit of time wasted.
Instead, they're setting up a bush trap with a delicious Uther bait. They give up on it, though, after seeing that Bruiser Camp was being taken, and decide to move to a potentially safer position and maybe take their own Bruiser Camp a little bit later. While slowest scout, because it is an unspeed upgraded Wisp, instead going for that cooldown reduction while the Wisp is dead.
This is so good.
Active, I believe.
This is so good for HotsLady. Not only is the tribute in their own half of the map, but it's also in a very convenient choke point. So it's easy for Tyrael to shut it down with a Holy Ground. Look at his positioning right there. The Malthael can get terrible, terrible damage done. And look at Arthas. He's just falling. God. Oh my goodness.
Ancestral's good though. Beautiful stage dive. And they're beginning to turn it around. Malthael with that Tormented Souls turned on. RPG, they back it up.
Yeah, and
for the heal.
They've got good poke as well with Infinity.
Yeah, they've got reasonably split up this time.
Yeah.
This is not the worst choke point to be in, not the worst split, because the Holy Ground can only block one of them, and this poke for Ming can actually interrupt the tribute each time. This is actually decent for RPG. They're beginning to move further forward. This is a much more rough choke point for that Holy Ground to try and split the team, but HotsLady, they're backing up so far. He might lose this. Carlo blocked off the escape, but what's he achieved? He's isolated himself from his team, as we do see RPG just trying to zone them out. It's up to Carlo, who does once again interrupt, puts himself in danger. Speed boosts out, just being a little winged ninja, just diving in, interrupting, and diving out. Chicken, zones, Divine Shield having to be used. Emerald Wind for disengage. Chicken is dropped. Beautiful bait. Carlo's back in from behind, looking for Infinity. Loktar is bouncing around like crazy, doing huge damage, and Feed B's able to survive thanks to the double healing. Wang's dropping down. Loktar's damage though, it's going through.
Rhaegar the killer!
finish anyone. Rhaegar looks for feed B, gets the first kill. Locktar finally goes down. Infinity's back from recess, doesn't have dominance, gets healed up though. 2v2, Sar goes free, gets another kill, but that's just gonna heal up Kid. Infinity do something, he has no mana. He can't do anything. The core's taking fire. They can't do anything here. RPG are in a lose-lose situation. Sar is just trying to distract Kid. Infinity not even taking the tribute. He's just being back to defend the core.
Oh no, he had to go back. There were already 2 catapults sitting at the core. I was going to say time is in HotsLady's favor, Tetra, because there were mercenaries pushing in the bottom. There were already so many minions and catapults swarming in here into the base of RPG, and now with the curse, things are going from bad to worse. But what a battle! The Doge, known as Rhaegar, killed a couple of dudes. Then there was Li Ming, and if Li Ming had had more mana, Tetra, she could have done so much more. And it goes to say that oftentimes Li Ming's greatest enemy is her own mana bar.
Very true, and you can see a little bit of a replay here. ETC with a perfect stun up. The Emerald window giving Chicken no time to react. Cleanse was not available.
Look at Locktar.
And you can see Lunara just dancing around the fight there. But beautiful play at the end of that. Brightwing once again shutting down any attempt ETC had to try and make a play.
At this point, Tetra, I don't know who's going to take the game. Obviously, it looks a lot better for HotsLady right now. They have multiple winning conditions. They could go for a boss. They could go for a backdoor. However, I do have to give credit to RPG for defending this quite well. They're making sure that no more keeps are going to fall on their side. Now, this boss might be a crazy fighting location here. We do have, once again, advantages, though, in terms of HotsLady when it comes to those boss fights. With that Tyrael, once again, the Holy Grounds, the Sanctifications. Carlo has been such a menace. I don't think Uther is the right target to focus here.
They're trying, though. They want to burst him down.
That's a big cooldown.
He has to burn Divine Shield. That is brilliant for them.
Yeah.
Level 20 finally hit, so there is that redemption. So if he does die now, it's not the worst thing. Speaking of level 20s, by the way, Anti-Magic Shell, Storm Shield for ETC, and Archon Pure Power coming in for Li Ming.
Oh boy. Okay, so normally Archon is something you only see when the team is already in the lead and trying to go for a building or the core, because it can outrange those, right? However, oh god, this boss is so close.
Second
ETC can go in. He goes in.
Stage dive. He's doing it anyways. Doing it blind.
Oh no!
He's coming in, doing it live. Emerald win.
He came too soon.
With the infinite, with the extra waves, Sar gets removed. Infinity is doomed, getting chased down and blinks away, but not enough health, and it's a massacre. A good idea turned into an absolute atrocity that goes against the Geneva Convention for RPG. They go down. Almost a full team wipe, about to be a full team wipe. Locktar being a great distraction.
Oh my god.
But either way, the core is going down. The boss is on its way, and that is going to be GG.
That is going to be GG.
Get him again.
One more holy shock. No.
Kill him.
Going for it. Tetra, that was so close. I mean, it looked a little bit silly, right? Wang went in way too... Chicken went in way too early with that global, but they didn't have vision. They didn't have vision on the boss, so we, of course... Oh, there we go.
Got him.
But we, of course, we knew that the boss was not ready just yet, you know? However, RPG, they did not have the vision, so otherwise they could have maybe timed the stage dive a little bit more smartly. As it is, though, the trigger finger was too early. It was a good game, though. HotsLady takes it well-deserved in a heated battle in an awesome series. 1-1 the final score.
Very well played. The kings of the 1-1, HotsLady, once again able to take it. Neither of these two teams will move out of that bottom 2 position, though, is what this means. RPG will move up to 6 points, which is still 1 behind KT. HotsLady will move up to 5, still holding their last place position. And RPG, if they want any chance of making it into that top 3, they need to find only 2 zeros from now on. Exactly,
only 2 zeros. That is definitely true. It was... I'm just too silly to type in the 1-1. There we go. Kendrick struggling a little bit with the overlay. But yeah, you're totally right. None of the teams can actually afford... Actually, they couldn't afford to play 1-1 today. It was so crazy. RPG, if only they had fought those last team fights a little bit better. If only luck had been at their side a little bit more. Because I felt that some of the really, really crucial and majorly important tributes had always spawned on favor of HotsLady. So a little bit of luck, but a lot of skill involved here in order to win that game and rightfully take that 1-1.
Indeed, it was. Well played, well deserved by HotsLady, and just once again, big shout out to Again and 365.
Oh,
just
yeah.
absolute god play all game with Again, 365 just shutting down Chicken at every possible opportunity, and of course Again with that clutch team fight healing, sacrificing himself instead of Malthael at the end there to make sure that Malthael could guarantee the fight and get themselves that curse.